everybody. Welcome to the Culture Shock. I am so excited today. We are here for our next episode, and we are turneder than that thing. I heard myself talking, and I got scared. I'm like, what's going on? It's mommy's phone. Hey, everybody. So we are here.
Down just so you
We have our lovely host here. I am your girl, Lexi, Miss Nicole. Follow me on Instagram. I got Vonnie. I got Yusuf. Vonnie, say hi to the people.
Hello, people.
Hey, Yusuf, say hi to the people.
Jumbo.
See Jumbo.
See Jumbo. I love it.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the culture up at the Culture
Yeah.
Shop. And today, we have a guest host because we are starting out our series on Shout Out to My Mama. And so we're going to all have our mommies here different weeks. And tonight we are kicking it off with the one, the only, my mommy and queen, Miss Carrie Harold Payton.
Hi.
Hey, y'all. Welcome her to the show. So, let's just dive right in because y'all know it's been a hell of a week.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we even start? Vonnie, what you got for the people?
Well,
So, the group chat was turned this week.
so what I want to talk about is what happened in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, please. Inform the people.
For those who don't know, there was a neighbor who saw that his neighbor's front door was open, and so he called a non-emergency number. Was like, "Hey, can you guys do a well-being welfare check? A welfare check." And so the officer goes to this neighbor's house. Doesn't even go to the front door. Like creeps around and sees someone moving in the window, and screams like, "Put your hands up, stop," or whatever form that are not form, but whatever words that police officers say before like they're supposed to draw and shoot. Well, this officer said it and drew his gun and shot this woman through the bedroom window, and ended up killing her. And so keep in mind, this is a couple weeks after the whole Amber Geiger trial. And so, of course, tensions are really high in Texas. And as of right now, the officer he resigned, but has been charged with her murder. Yeah, woman chilling in her house, just got done playing Call of Duty with her nephews.
Yeah.
Ends up getting shot and killed. And
This is just getting out of control now. Like, I don't know what exactly is in the water in Texas, but I mean, this is out of control.
It is out of control, and this is like either the fourth or fifth fatal shooting involving police officers where a civilian was killed in Fort Worth, I think, just this year alone. So that lets you know we got a big problem.
A huge problem.
A huge problem, which we already know is a huge problem, but we're hearing multiple people are being killed by the police in Fort Worth. So Fort Worth, what's going on?
Well, and then I know, so I know y'all saw in the group chat the, and side note, hey y'all, if y'all watching us on Facebook Live, please feel free to post your comments. They will be read on the show as we do every week. Join the conversation, because just as a side note, just because of all the hell and damnation that's going on in the country right now, we will probably more than likely not have a topic for a little bit because there's just so much that we're seeing that's going on that every week that we probably won't have a topic for a little bit. So please feel free to share your comments with us. Mommy is going to be here adding in her wisdom and her her you digs and you don'ts on everything that's going on. So
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. So, but no, so I'm sure y'all saw what the judge said. She said that she would not be getting this kind of backlash because she hugged Welcome John's family. She hugged them, and then she went over and hugged Amber Geiger, and then gave her a Bible. And she was sitting there crying, got nerve to be crying, talking about I wouldn't be getting this kind of backlash if Amber Geiger was black.
First of all, why are you coming out of the stand to hug a convicted murderer?
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Even if you're hugging the victim's family, why do you still feel the need to hug Amber?
So from now on, protocol for her should be
Right.
for every murderer, for every murder case that she gets, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. She needs to come from behind that bench,
Then hugs that.
hug that murderer,
Mhm.
and give them a Bible.
Yep, because she said Amber Geiger asked her, do you think Jesus will forgive me? Like, I mean,
Look,
duh.
That's
I mean, that's why he died on the cross and did
That's
what
his
he
whole
did.
thing.
That's
not
his whole
something you really gotta ask
mantra.
the judge, though.
But I'm just like,
That's between you and him.
you know,
I feel like I would be like, look, you gotta ask him yourself.
Right.
girl, you gonna need to
That
get
I'm
on
a
down.
judge, but it ain't my job to
Right.
judge that,
Right.
okay?
The first
Well,
thing
and
you messed up on was
then-
asking me if you gonna forgive me. That's
Right.
what you already
I
did.
need you to go ahead.
So,
Take your killing ass on to somebody's church
Right.
and go ahead and get on the altar, lay out before the Lord before you go to jail.
Mhm.
And then, because then she said, you know, you have purpose or something like that. You know, when you
Yeah.
come out after 10 years, she said, do you really think I'll have a renewed life? Like, girl,
Wow.
you probably the most hated person, one of the most hated people in America right now.
Yeah.
Nah, cuz we ain't finna play like you
You
finna
gonna have
come
to do
out
what
and
all
have
the
a
black
good
men do and go to jail and convert to Islam and
Legit.
find your path
Or become a
there.
skinhead. Because
Right.
you ain't finna be accepted in too many circles out here.
Let me just have another sip of my liquid therapy.
Sips coffee. But I mean, but really, it's just like that. As my Aunt Sherry said, my Aunt Sherry put it out there perfectly. That was a key example of turning a criminal into a victim.
yeah.
That made her
For sure.
a victim so quick. And I am so sick to death of seeing people play that victim card. You're not a victim, cuz we gonna just put it out there.
Yeah.
You are not a victim. You killed this man while he was sitting on his couch eating a bowl of ice cream.
Right.
You, sir, shot this woman while she was in her house playing
Mhm.
video games with her nephew. Y'all ain't no kind of damn victim.
It seemed like they were just ready to go out and kill her. Like,
You was just
Amber was
exactly.
like, look, I don't like this dude. I want to come up with this cockamamie story talking about I was too tired, so I'm just gonna walk into this apartment
Wow.
that's not mine. And then
again,
dude's like, oh well,
and again,
I saw
as
someone
we said,
possibly with a gun or whatever.
While she was
And I'm
texting,
all alone.
while she was texting her married boyfriend.
Right.
She was so
Like I
caught up
said,
in
Do
doing
you,
that.
do you think the conviction of Amber Geiger has anything to do with this second officer getting convicted too?
Yep.
Because I mean, it's a tragic thing that keeps happening. But I would like to see
the black
trend
man?
of no, this.
the second
cop,
officer that he
yeah.
did. Well, and then too,
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it's just
the country is full of assholes.
I mean, she did have she looked out the window. He didn't identify himself.
Right.
She saw him and she had her own gun.
Right. Which
She saw somebody with
has her license for, by the
Right.
way. We should also keep
she
that in
saw
mind.
somebody in her yard, heard somebody in her yard, and she had her own gun
Mhm.
and looked out the window. And he didn't identify himself and he shot.
Right.
He shot before saying anything.
But notice with Amber Geiger, it was the same kind of situation where
Right.
she claims, like I said, prosecutor was not going. He wasn't playing.
Right. He's like,
She was like, he was like, so your neighbor's in here, you call out any command. She said, I went and I told him, show me your hands. I need to see your hands. And he didn't show him. And that's when I shot. He said, but how come your neighbor's in here that I don't know? He said, oh, well, I do. Because you didn't say it.
Yeah.
Like, he had no chill.
right.
He had no chill. That, and it's just, like I said, they just wanted to go out and kill somebody
right.
just because.
And then you have people who are doing the right thing, looking out for somebody else, the
Mhm.
neighbor
Right.
who was concerned, who saw the door open,
Right.
you know, for all that time. You got somebody else who's like regretting for the rest of their lives, feeling like,
Yeah.
I wished I had, this person is like, I wished I hadn't even called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thinking about the guy, I was like, my goodness, I can't imagine like trying to be like the good neighbor, trying to help, and be like, okay, I just want to make sure that they're okay, and then all of a sudden they end up dead for you just trying to check up on them.
What?
So I was like, what other options
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
do we have when it comes to wanting to make sure that our neighbors are okay? So I guess one of them
You need to
just
form community action groups, is what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
not
action
accusing
groups.
you.
High five.
I wanted to ask you guys, as like young people, I wanted to ask, I was thinking about this myself. How do you guys feel if a situation comes up? Because like Yusuf, as a young black man, how do you feel if a situation were to arise? How do you feel if you needed to call the police? How do you?
So having been in several situations before where I needed to like weigh out my blackness versus my helpfulness in a situation, because I can be pretty helpful in good situations, but I'm also very black, which is unfortunate if cops show up while I'm being very black. Like it sucks because I can't just be like, "Hey, hold up, I'm helping these people." They're like, "Oh, it's black." So there was actually one time where this dog got loose, and this was down on 6th Street, like right up the hill, and there was a door that was open. The dog wanted to get into the house. Apparently, end of the story. Dog ended up used to live there. The last owners had left him, but I had called the cops to like let them know. And if you guys don't know this, I sometimes enunciate and sound very white. So when the cops first showed up, they thought that I was not the person that called them on the phone. They were being very aggressive about the situation. They chilled out after a little bit, like this is the dog, like this is their whole situation. But that is something that I have to think about often, like how helpful I can be versus how much I'm having to put my own life at risk. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of other people have to think about too when they're determining whether they can help on that. Because in a situation like this, you would want to think that you could call the cop, or you want to go see if you want to go check on it. But obviously, as a citizen, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way either. But we really just need to, I think, get back to a nice standard of community. Because, like, this would have been helpful if he would have had that lady's number, his neighbor's number, and could have called him and, like, yo, I think someone's in your house. If she would have answered, that would have solved the situation right there. So if there's anything come from the story, like, let it be known. Like, make sure you're talking to people that live directly around you, at least a little bit, at least to know that if something happens, that you can, like, not have to call the police.
Because now we live in a day and age where, as African Americans, we have to second guess. We have to really think, do we really want to call the police or do we not want to call the police? Because it could change on us. We can't just call the police. We're not, as a white person, we can call the police. But as African Americans, we have to like think about it.
Oh yeah, and I think about that too, dealing with, I know it's not a topic that we talk about a lot in the Black community, we're hearing more about it, but like mental health. So we know that people who have mental health issues or are going through like a breakdown, they are more likely to be killed by the police. So then I'm like, okay, well, I know there are some Black people I know personally who have, they're struggling with their mental health. And I'm like, I can't call anyone like, hey, can you do welfare check on them because, they're telling me they're having certain kind of thoughts. So now I'm like, okay, well, now I gotta weigh out the pros and cons. Call and they possibly could get help, or like, I don't know. I would just have to show up for myself. I already came to that conclusion. Like, we're in town. I'm just gonna have to come and go and see you.
What you got, Mr. Producer?
Delon said, "Hey, Mama Carrie."
Yes, Delon.
He said, "Hey, Mama Carrie."
Oh, hey, Delon.
Hey,
Hi,
Chief.
Delon.
We love you, Chief.
And then Chris Thompson said, "That's on the police. They need to rebuild trust in the community." Sad but true.
Yep.
And then Heather Rose Schaefer said, "I love this. I ain't calling no police. No, no, no."
And let's make that clear as well. And I don't think Heather would mind me putting it out there. Heather, for I would say for somebody who is white to say that they're not calling the police, because and that's something that I've noticed even like with working with the 3 boys, that we're starting to shift our focus from what happened in the situation with the boys to now we're starting to really focus on, okay, the Rock County judicial system. And we're seeing that it's not fair we can't just say now it's not fair for Black people, but it's not fair for Black people, for a Black person who's married to a white person, or a white person who's married to a Black person. She is a white woman married to a Black man. So it's like, it's messed up. It is messed up all the way around. And even, and I was telling Mom about it when we had the first protest. Now, y'all gotta understand, so when I say this, y'all gonna be like, woo. We live in Janesville. So you already know, we Black, we live in Janesville, the police, you already know. So when we had that first protest, the sheriff's department contacted me and was like, yeah, we heard about it. We want to be out there to assist you. And they had like 4, 5, 6 police officers or sheriff's department officers who are out there ready for us. But now on the flip side, when they had the one for global warming, I can't remember what it was.
Climate change.
Thank you, climate change. When they had that one, when they had that one, they didn't have quite as many police officers out there, and it was just like, okay. But I mean, that's something that we definitely, it's something that we definitely will have to fight for. We're definitely going to have to continue to fight. This is not, and especially for our generation.
And not to say that we don't need the police. We need the police. We need law and order. We can't just say that we don't need the police. We can't just have people fending for themselves. We definitely need the police, but we can't have the police, I should say bad police,
Yes.
targeting Black people.
We need a system of law and order.
We
and
need
I
a
still think
system of
community
law and
building
order.
is the best way to do
Yeah.
it. But we also do need something that can help people when they can't help themselves. We need
Exactly.
some type of law enforcement agency, but the police in their current iteration is not. That's
Exactly.
not it. Like, they
Exactly.
need to.
And when people say that all lives, instead of saying Black lives,
Mhm.
Black lives, it's not Black Lives Matter, it should be all lives matter. All lives do matter, but all lives are not being targeted.
Right.
Black lives are being
Hit
targeted.
it right on the head.
And at this point, Black lives matter.
And just because you're pro-Black does not mean that you are anti-white.
Exactly.
Like, seriously. What you got, Mr. Producer?
Heather also said, my boys are Black, my husband's Black, and I am white, but I support my Black community to the fullest, and the police know it.
Hey.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And that's why she's a target.
Yeah,
That's why she's a target. And we support Heather.
we do.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize Mr. Producer is white.
Mhm.
Because Mr. Producer ain't never on camera.
I mean, Mr. Producer, you can't see Mr. Producer. We love Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer was one of my students in school. And you can't see Mr. Producer. I love Mr. Producer. And we love that Mr. Producer has this platform for all of these guys to be able to voice their opinions
Y'all
and
ready?
have something like this.
I think this is an appropriate moment to have, let's do a moment of reflection, guys. Ready?
Mhm.
For Mr. Producer. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thoughts and prayers to
That was a
Mr.
good one. That
Producer.
was a good one.
Ain't nothing wrong. We just love us. We love you, Mr. Producer.
We do.
We love Mr. So fine. So look, moving right along to the next topic. Because look, like I said, I'm going to Tilly's with my God, and we ain't playing.
Okay. Okay.
Next time, look,
Keeping them moving.
great conversation though. No, legit thoughts and prayers, legit for real thoughts and prayers to the family of Mr. Elijah Cummings.
Yes.
Good Lord, when I read that yesterday morning, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of got me in my throat a little
I
bit,
shed a tear.
That
a real
was-
tear.
because this man has fought. He has been in the fight for, and when you look at not only, he's an example in my opinion. When you are a person who is a hardcore civil rights activist and you are a hardcore Democrat, you are the one who had He Who Shall Not Be Named investigated, and you have Republicans crying over, inconsolable over your passing. That speaks volumes. He is an example that we
Fought
need
the good
to
fight.
follow.
He fought the good fight.
Yeah.
That
All the
was
way to the end.
all the way.
Yeah.
When you go in and they say that you're only going to be out for a week for a procedure and your health just declines that quickly. It wasn't like he had been sick. It wasn't like it had been, but that's just, this man is somebody that we will definitely have a memorial on our Facebook page tonight for Mr. Cummings. Thoughts and prayers to this man.
Hi-ya, ta-ta-ta.
Hi, whew. I felt the Holy Ghost in that. What you got?
Stephanie Marshall Stevens
Hey,
says,
Yes.
what are your thoughts about the situation at Madison West this week?
Yes.
Oh, we are actually, hey, Mama Steph, you a step ahead of us.
Hey,
We get ready
girl.
to talk about it.
Hey,
We're gonna be
Steph.
talking about it in a little bit. But no, Elijah, that is somebody that if you are an activist, if you are young in the fight, if you are just kind of getting started, that is somebody to definitely look up to. And then that just makes me, in my opinion, appreciate the local heroes and fighters that we had, even right here in the community. I will shout them out I am going to shout out Miss Carolyn Street. Okay,
Yes.
Miss Dorothy Harrell,
Yes.
Miss Wanda Sloan, just those big names, Miss Saritha Washington,
Come on.
Pastor Kendall Roman, all those pastors in the city of Beloit, the ministers, the activists that we have, Miss Tia Johnson, those who are out here fighting, and the ones who are training us to come up to, I mean, for me, taking over what I did with the boys, what I've been doing with the family,
My mom.
was Miss Barbara Jean McCraley Sharp. You know, I keep saying, and I said, you know, this, I knew it wasn't going to be an easy battle at all. I knew this was not going to be something easy, but to have Dorothy, who's my cousin, to have Dorothy and Miss Wanda training me, and she said, and they're saying stuff like, you're the next generation. You guys are the next ones coming up. And I'm thinking to myself, at first I was like, okay, then I'm like, these are big shoes to fill. Like, that's a big footstep to try and fill. That's a big responsibility, knowing that I'm coming behind these great people. So just in short, what am I saying? Appreciate your local activists. Appreciate your local activists.
Shout out to Pastor Melvin Brown.
Yes.
Who came all the way down
from Rockford. Apostle Brown came from Rockford for our protest last Saturday. He came down and did a prayer, had some words for us. So shout out to him. What up, Mr. Producer?
Stephanie said, Barbara Hickman is another great role model.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Hickman. Yes, absolutely. So now we're going to get to
the walkout.
The walkout, child. So here's what happened at Madison West. Lord have mercy. So, security guard. Now, mind you, I'd like to put this disclaimer out. All of the people involved in the situation were Black. So we're going to put it out there, okay? We speak freely on the podcast. Security officer who was a Black man was breaking up a fight between a Black dude and somebody else, another student. There were students. The student is out there, nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. Security guard tells him, stop. He, nigga taking hands off me, nigga taking hands off me, blah, blah, blah. The security officer, who's a Black man, says, don't call me nigga. The school district fired the security officer for using a racial slur. So, security officer's son planned a walkout, a school-wide walkout. So you remember, Aaron, you remember the walkout that we had for the vote for the teachers' bargaining rights when Scott Walker first got it? So he planned a big walkout, right? But it was the teachers and the students who walked out. They walked out and marched to the district office, okay, with bullhorn signs and all of that. And so then all of a sudden, the president of the school board says, who's a white lady, well, this definitely makes us think that we should probably take a look into some of our policies, because we may not be really enforcing zero tolerance like we think we are. I was in there like, duh, bitch. But like, that was my face the whole time, like, really? So he got fired. So this was yesterday that he got fired. He got hired to be on the administrative team at the Dane County Boys and Girls Club. And this news story will be on our Facebook page tonight. So he gets fired. He's on the Dane County administrative team for the Boys and Girls Club. And Cher from Sonny and Cher, tweeted and was like, you know, this is horrible. What happened is so sad. It's disgusting. And she tweeted to him and said, if you plan on suing the Madison school district, I will absorb all of your legal fees. So she has put out there that if he decides to go ahead and press charges, she's going to go ahead and pay for it. So let's just say Madison done messed up.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts?
Caught y'all slipping.
Thoughts and prayers.
My thing is like her whole thing about we're not enforcing the policy like we thought we should. I was like,
That's when you hit him with this thing.
Like, look.
Did you think of
Like, how you gonna police us on our word? First of all, that's my thought. And I was
Thank you.
How you just saving face? That's all you do. Maybe we were doing. You were just saving face, and I personally feel like, I'm not sure how many other incidents of this happened. It sounds like the first time this has happened, and it sounds like they were trying to make an example out of him. Like,
That's what it
we
is.
can even get black people fired for saying the
Right,
N-word
right.
also. That's what I felt like.
Right.
And so I was
Even
like, oh, now y'all want to
And my thing is,
save face. Yeah, okay.
and my thing is, and I'm gonna say what my dad said, which is rare. I don't know why, cause y'all know. But my dad even said, he said it's weird that he got fired, but the boy who called him the N-word, who was also black, so it wasn't like it was a white person or anything like that.
Right.
But the boy who called him the N-word ain't get nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking
don't
too.
understand this.
Zero policy.
I don't understand because you're
But
looking.
we don't know yet. We don't know what the ramifications.
Something's
of
probably
that
gonna come from it. Y'all know something's gonna come from it. Now, what you got, Mr. Producer?
That's the question that they're asking right
Okay,
now.
yep.
Yeah.
We
So
don't know
we
yet.
don't
What
know
happened
yet.
to the student?
Now y'all know something is probably going to come out now because he's been fired and it's gotten the media coverage.
Right.
But y'all know good and well probably before this, they was like, oh, he's a black man and he used a racial slur on a student.
Right.
And oh my God, because he said, don't call me a
Right.
nigga
Mhm.
and on a black student. Oh, well, he can't use that kind of
Right,
verbiage because
Right.
teachers are held to a higher standard.
Yeah, but they're acting like context is not extremely important
Right.
in situations.
Because I'm
Right.
sorry,
Trying to make
let,
black
I'm just gonna be
black-
real.
it's
let
black
one of these little
situation.
kids come,
Child. Mhm.
as we say on the podcast, I ain't got no handprints in my hand. I did not die for your sins. Baby, I will beat.
Mhm.
They don't know me.
Yeah.
They don't know me.
It is ridiculous. I'm very curious as to see what's going to happen because they're going to have to
Same.
completely change a bunch of
Right.
policy.
Well, what they're doing also is now they have fired other staff. And now they said that they are going back over other staff members who have used the N-word, and they're going back over those to see
Oh.
if they may have fired them
Interesting.
hastily.
Okay.
But I know those other
It's
people,
about to
I would
open up
just,
a
Yeah.
whole
I
other-
would-
so Cher may be saying,
I ain't got you, babe.
mm.
I ain't got you.
I told you, I just told the one dude I gotta.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, don't play. I didn't mean everybody.
But
I just meant.
I think it also, they're going to try to clean this up as fast as possible because we're always hearing stuff about UW-Madison too.
Yeah, I know you saw that.
Yeah, where on their science
White
building,
only.
it was for white students only.
Yeah,
So they're also
And
gonna be like,
trans.
come on, like,
and trans.
And let's
Yeah.
just put it out
Oh.
there. This is not something, these things that we're seeing, these things that we're seeing in our country, this ain't nothing new.
it's not.
Is it? Because people keep saying, oh, since he who shall not be named on this podcast got in office, all of a sudden everybody's acting all racist. No, they've been racist.
They're
It's just
louder
he has
about it.
now
Yeah.
opened it up
Right.
for them to be openly
Yeah,
racist,
there's
and
no-
it's okay.
There's no shame.
No shame in nobody's game.
No.
He just kind of lifted the veil
Right.
for the racist to
And
come
let's
out.
just be real, because y'all know before the podcast started, he know he's scared.
Oh, yeah, especially.
Yeah.
It better
Yeah.
quit playing.
Kind of like what I said, it's like he's scared, but it's just like, when you get ready
Use
to
the
get,
same example.
yeah, get ready to get that whooping.
When you go home.
Yeah, but you just want
Yeah,
to
he's super messed up.
just
Hopefully, I
wanna
don't
go
have
in
time to
front
talk
of
about
your
it, but
friends.
Yeah.
What up, Aaron?
What up?
Stacy Dyer said Madison doesn't have a big enough shortage of teachers.
Yeah,
It's true.
true that.
I love you, Stacy.
Mhm.
What? Oh Lord, well, who? I can only who Yusuf. What?
What do you have to share?
Okay,
That's all I'm gonna drink this water.
I don't know if you guys have heard. I would like to, but Donald Trump recently. Sorry. I know we don't invoke his name here. He who shall not be named recently basically gave Turkey an open invitation.
Yes, he did.
To, murder some
Yeah.
Kurds. So first, I want to say for those of you who don't know, because I was not very aware of this before I did some research studying. The Kurds are a group of people who inhabit an area that's between Turkey, Iraq, and Syria. They don't actually have their own nation. It was a huge thing. They were going to get one. And then every time they attempted to get proper nationhood, it was basically squandered by Turkey. They basically all got pushed into Syria. They've been a lead force on the fight against ISIS because ISIS is targeting them. And we basically, as America, made them our allies. We told them that we would help them. We actually had begun helping them police. We'd been doing joint patrols and all this, and our goal as a country was to help them and then pull out slowly over time, which is like questionable already, depending on how you feel about American being there. But there was kind of an overwhelming majority, whether you're Republican or Democratic, that we should not abandon these people.
Right.
And then Trump abandoned these people.
Just decided to
So-
pull out.
Right.
Did you see the letter?
Did you hear what he said though about how his reasoning why they didn't help us in the storming of Normandy, and they never helped us in these things, and they never helped
He
us?
said the storming of Normandy.
Sir, how many years ago you still, as my grandma, may she rest in peace, used to say, LIG it, let it go. You mad about
I'm not mad. I feel like you just excuse what about Normandy?
No,
Exactly.
no, he probably mad. You know when you're only 6 years old, you know you have temper tantrums.
Right.
Quit playing, you know he mad.
Yeah, but
thinking about that.
I was just destroyed when I heard. I mean, I watched it. I watched it on CNN when he first said that he was pulling these troops out, and I'm thinking, why would he do that?
He didn't know why.
And then when
know
it
why.
started happening, when I was watching all this artillery and these bombs going off,
Right.
these people running and these babies being killed and everything,
Right.
and then he was like shell shocked. Oh my God, why are they doing this? And then he was almost like, you could see it on his face. I can't believe that they're actually doing this. And then he called the ceasefire. And then he sends little Snow White over there with his little puffy hair to go over there and try to stop things.
But that's,
You know, he was
it's
supposed to be
too
coming
little,
here
too late.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he went over there to send them over there to stop it. And then now he's shocked that it happened.
Yeah,
Why would you
it's
be
like,
shocked?
What did you think was?
You
Well,
started this mess. You
So-
caused this mess.
So they were also in Syria holding, I think it was like 12,000 ISIS prisoners.
Yeah.
And now they're worried about them getting out,
And
and they've
now-
already been getting out.
and
It's
now
starting ISIS
ISIS
2.0.
ISIS was detained, and you haven't heard much about them at all. And now it's getting ready to start all over again.
Mhm.
I'm gonna need this impeachment inquiry to go on.
And this
That's to speed it up.
And this is just, I mean, people voted for him, and this is you getting
And then,
what you voted for.
Did you guys see, as we draw this story to a close, did y'all see that he the energy director of energy,
Oh.
he
I
resigned.
said, I got to go.
He'll be done, I think,
So I said till at the
end of the year.
Mhm.
He'll resign. And then, you know, the whole mess with Rudy Giuliani, we ain't even finna get into that foolery. But now somebody else, one of his people that worked with him during this whole thing, he done got arrested.
Yeah.
Like, that's the fourth person with associated with Rudy Giuliani who's been arrested. Like, this whole presidency is just, it's sinking fast.
Everybody is in jail.
He need to be scared. He's going
Everybody's
to
going
jail.
to jail.
It's gonna be, you're going to jail. It's gonna be like Oprah.
No,
You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. I don't even get it. Lord have mercy, guys. This is insane. This, child, is just, that just made me have heartburn.
Yeah.
That just made me mad. They give me some Xanax. Well, maybe not Xanax, because you know they got the carcinogens. They got recalled today.
Cancer.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you might get cancer if you take
From
it.
Xanax?
If you or a loved one have ever used
Xanax.
Xanax,
Xanax, okay.
Oh,
there may be
yeah.
financial compensation.
Wow.
Call the law offices of Mr. Producer LLC. There may be financial compensation.
That's how America is right now. You gotta have a lawyer job on the side. That's a side hustle.
Man.
To make
Might
ends
as well.
meet.
You might as well.
Wake up, be watching BET, go to sleep, wake up in the middle of the night, hear that loud, that real loud commercial. If you or a loved one ever suffered because you done took Xanax and now you got cancer,
Right.
no, and it just be ghetto. If you done found out you got cancer because you had heartburn at one point, and now all of a sudden you got cancer because you done messed around and took Xanax, call us Cause you know what, you may just get you some money.
And
Come
we go, just make it rain.
and make it rain. Call the law offices of Mr. Producer's debit card. Our operators are standing by.
Here it is. Here it is.
Because y'all know, so okay, backstory, because y'all know we goofy. Backstory on Mr. Producer law offices. So before the podcast started, Vonnie was ordering something to eat, and her and Aaron was getting something to eat. And he gives Vonnie his card, and he said, "Don't take a picture of it." I said, "Or don't copy that down." I said, "Oh, taking a picture of that. He gonna pay for us to go ahead and eat at Tilly's tonight. Mom's book club, they all gonna have the matching custom made Jordans and the Nikes and the, we gonna
Drinks on Mr. Producer tonight.
drinks on Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer gonna be calling, trying to find out why his card done got hacked, and they gonna be sitting in the background. I said it's a size 12. Now, sir, as you were saying, you said that somebody used your card. Okay, no, I said it's a size 12.
Throw some more on it.
Right.
Picture of Sister Soleil Book Club in Jamaica.
Compliments of Mr. Producer. We love Mr. Producer.
Gonna be sponsored. Turn around and make this come up.
Right. We love sponsor powered by Preneur Production. And then see in the news later on, the news. Preneur Production shut down due to bankruptcy. Because we done drained all their assets.
Extreme bankruptcy.
They so bankrupt, can't nobody help bankruptcy. Look, done drained the assets that they ain't even got.
It's okay if you file as a Republican, they'll bail you out. You'll be good.
Well, guys, do we got any upcoming events, anybody?
No, nothing too crazy.
Mama, you got something coming up?
Well,
Go ahead, talk about it.
well, let's see. Well, I do have some coming up. as
Quit
a matter
front.
of
Go
fact.
ahead. Look,
But I do want to
Mama.
say this. I do have a book club, Sister Soleil Book Club. It's a group of women that I started a book club a few months ago. There's a group of us women. We meet once a month, the last Sunday of each month. I have adopted Merrill School as the school that I like to, give books and different things like that.
That's my mama. Look at her.
To that school. That's the school that I went to as a child.
Me too.
Back in the 70s.
And Bonnie.
Teacher said.
And Yusuf's mom is a teacher there. Lexi went to that school.
Turn up, class of
And
2000.
so the book as the facilitator for that book club, that's the school that I decided to adopt. And so winter is coming, and
Fast approaching.
if any of my students or former students that I had, and you have kids who go to school there, and even if you don't have kids who are going to school there, if you could
I ain't got no kids.
collect any mittens, gloves, scarves, anything, if you could remember the kids at that school and take them to Merrill School. The principal there is Brandy Herford. And if you could, remember the kids who are going to school there as it gets cold, and take those donations to Merrill School.
Turn up.
And yes.
Heather said thank you for the books for the kids. My boys love them, by the way.
Oh, hey, no problem. Hey, sure. And also, I have lupus. It is a autoimmune disease. It is genetic.
I ain't got it though.
Lexi doesn't have it. Lexi had cancer. Lexi had Hodgkin's lymphoma. So she is a survivor. I am a survivor. I'm a warrior. I'm considered a warrior because there is no cure for what I have. And I am going to be doing a web launch. I'm launching a website that I've been working on for women of color who have lupus. And it's not the kind of web page that you would normally find for women of color or anybody who has lupus. If you go on the website and you see people, they're always sick and they're always icky and they're always in pain.
Mm-hmm.
If I live with it, I know what it's like. Anybody who has lupus knows what it's like. I'm in pain right now. As a matter of fact, I forgot to take my medication to come out
Cover
because
my fault.
anyway, but I'm going to be doing a web launch, and it's about how to enjoy life with lupus.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to have like this exciting web launch in December, and it's going to be like off the chain. And so I want you guys to be there.
We making that clear. The folks who watching, all y'all ain't invited. You will get turned away in Jesus' name. If
But
you
it's
ain't
like
invited.
an invitation only, and it's the name of the web page that I'm doing is called the Posh Peacock. I have been connected with a group of African American women in Madison, also with the Lupus organization in Milwaukee and lupus.org of America Foundation. I'm going to be partnering with them, and it's bigger. It turns out to be a lot bigger than I imagined. I just thought it would be just this little website that I would just be doing, and a couple of people would be looking at it, but it's a whole lot bigger than I thought.
Mhm.
And so I just wanted to share that, and I want to share it with the joy of this with the people who have been with me from the very beginning, from 2012 all the way up to this point.
That was the best class to ever walk out of Beloit.
When I got diagnosed in 2012 up until right now. So this is like a big moment for me, and this could take me a lot of places. Just actually it's taking me to a lot of places right now that I just didn't dream. So not saying that I'm gonna be big and famous, but then you just, I mean, what you dream is for the best. So I do want to give a shout out to Ruthie Carroll and Linda Shumpert.
Hey, Lynn.
And Dion Riddle.
Mama Dion.
They've been like my backbone
We
throughout
love
a
you.
lot of this. So
Doing it for the 99 and the 2000.
and Lexi, of course, she's been my big time
Mommy.
support. So
Stop. You're making
anyway, yeah, so
that's my mama.
Alright.
That is my mommy, guys.
and I am looking forward to seeing you guys moms too, because
We can be turned.
big time.
Again,
Well,
doing
thank
it-
you, Mr. Producer.
Again, we love you, Mr. Producer.
We love Mr. Producer.
Mr. Producer is doing it for the 99 and the 2000s.
Mhm.
We all are. It's for the culture. Well, y'all, just make sure that you are tuning in starting tomorrow for episodes of the Weekend War Zone with Jazz. Shout out to Jazz Howard. We love you, girl, for always sharing. Hey, Godmom. I didn't even know she was watching. Weekend War Zone with Jazz. Thank you, girl, for always sharing our podcast, being down for the cause. Look, I'm gonna just keep it real. You share with us, and we gonna share with you. We love you. We appreciate you for that. We are also looking forward to new episodes of Tay and Zay. If Zay would just come on and make some new episodes with Tay, so we can have some episodes put on our YouTube page.
Hey, Zay.
Hey, Zay. She ain't on here, but hey, girl, we're gonna shout you out. And yeah, just stay tuned, and we will see y'all next week on our new episode of The Culture Shock Beloit. And love y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
So
We're
long.
leaving out.
Farewell.